Welcome to AstroEnergy with Astrologer Angel Shelley Overton. Hello and welcome to the August 8th, 2017 AstroEnergy Astrology Show. My name is Shelley Overton. I'm an astrologer in Orlando, Florida. You can get me at astrologerangel.com. And welcome. I'm very excited to be here with you. I am looking forward to talking about astrology. It's kind of a pretty day here in Orlando. It's a little bit hot. Always is this time of year. It's 83 degrees on its way up to 90, which thankfully is going to be a little bit of a break from the excessive heat. And I'm sitting here looking, Phoenix is 107 today, on its way up to 110 tomorrow. So some of us have to deal with a lot hotter heat than others. And I'm just really grateful that I'm not in that range. But yeah, it's a dry heat, and here we have a wet heat, which actually does, believe it or not, make it a lot hotter in the summer and cooler when it gets cool. So that's the weather. But today we have Mars in Leo at 12. It's going to be a while for Mars in Leo. And we've got the Sun at 16. So Mars is at 12, and the Sun is at 16 Leo. The North Node is at 24 and the South Node at 24 Aquarius, right next to the Moon at 26 Aquarius. So Aquarius rules astrology, which means that today we're probably going to get some interesting callers. And if you are interested in getting a reading, you can call me at 347-994-35, and we'll get you on the air for your question. So Mars and Sun still hanging out together. That means that the Sun, again, is still wanting its attention. Leo is a sign of getting attention from the masses and really wants to belong to a group. That's kind of the archetype of Leo. So it rules the fifth house, which is creativity, children, and romance in a synopsis. But what it really wants to do is connect into other people on a one-on-one level. So the opposite sign, Aquarius, wants to connect to the masses and how do we all fit in the collective, where Leo wants public adoration. Aquarius is fine with being in the public eye, but isn't connected one-on-one. So with Mars in Leo and Moon in Aquarius, we have a bit of a disconnect between head and heart, or ego and spirit, what nurtures us versus what, well, actually, it's kind of a dichotomy, really, because the ego wants to be nurtured in Leo. The ego wants to connect. But the Moon, which is the mother, the feminine side, the reflection of the Sun, the ego, is the receptive side. So in receptivity, we're having a hard time accepting that attention. So the Moon in Aquarius can mean detachment from nurturing, detachment from mother, detachment from women. Aquarius is a masculine energy. And while Leo is also a masculine energy, it does have a very feminine side to it, where it's generous and creative and likes children and likes to be around children. It is childlike itself. So there is more receptivity to the Leo energy, and Aquarius distances on some level and gives perspective. So we may get a broader perspective of how nurturing let me rephrase that, how we can nurture the collective. So what is best or in the best interest of the collective? And that's what Leo's kind of wrapping up that story in the next few hours. I'm going to look here at my ephemeris and tell you. So the Moon goes into Pisces at 5:56 p.m. Eastern and 2:56 Pacific, and that will be roughly, I want to say 10 or 11 at night in England. So, or GMT. So, or GDT, I guess, is daylight. So GDT. So we have this dichotomy going on, and it's also an energy of balance because we have the North Node in Leo and the South Node in Aquarius. Again, South Node brings in the energy that we can be familiar with. Definitely at this degree, there's a strong bringing in of wanting to express ideas, wanting to understand people. It's a clarity point. It's to how we are expressing a certain scientific storyline in the collective. And then actually the nodes go in reverse through the zodiac. So even though it's at N degrees, it's actually the nodes are moving towards the lesser degrees, so the younger energy. So we come in with the old energy and we express the new energy as we go. And so I'm sorry, I'm having a little mind blip here. Yeah, and also Aquarius is technology as well. So we come in with this more wrapped up storyline about, oh no, it's kind of more black and white and this is what it is. But as we go along, we express a more youthful and new energy. And so the different sections of that particular sign, I digress just a little, bear with me. So as 10 degrees of each house, we will touch on the energy of the different elements of that particular 10 degrees. So in the last 10 degrees of Aquarius, we are dealing with the Libra. So it is about relationships. And as the nodes get closer to 20, it's about the idea and the clarity around the relationships. And it will be punctuated as Jupiter goes into the last decade of Libra, which will be the Gemini energy. So it will be a clearer thinking also around, well, a dualistic thinking actually is probably even going to be stronger as Jupiter gets to 20 Libra. So I'm just going to stop because I'm getting into, like, I feel like I'm wading out in reads here a little bit. So my point being just that the South Node is bringing us more of a clarity and understanding around the energy of partners and the energy of ideas, and are we getting our needs met through partnering. And then the North Node in Leo is also decant, and so it's getting a lot of the and more autonomous and wanting to just take drive and move forward. And it's an energy of self-promotion and the energy of creative self-promotion and sales. So that can be seen as a way to express in a positive light and promote ourselves one-on-one, which is the Leo energy, as opposed to the South Node, which is bringing in detachment from the ego, the detachment from self, and wanting us to be part of the collective. How does that integrate? Well, opposites definitely, they will be synergistic or polarized. So it really kind of depends on your personal chart and what is going on. Are there other planets and other energies in your chart? I don't have any Aquarius planets. I do have one Leo planet, but it's at 2 degrees. So it's not really getting hit by these planets directly. So if you have, say, Saturn in Aquarius, which actually I do have a progressed Saturn within 2 degrees of the moon right now in Aquarius, and it's triggering that energy to go and do something with the collective in a broader sense, in a inventive, creative. So working together, it's about selling on a larger, broader scale, maybe selling over the internet or bringing in new energy. You know, new is also Aquarian energy. It's fresh and different. It likes to shake things up. So it keeps it new and fresh by changing. And so we can see some energy coming in that involves change. And this evening, again, when the moon moves into Pisces, we're going to have going back down into the water. Right now we're breathing the air, and then tonight we're going to be going back down into the moody emotional water for the next 2.5 days. And tomorrow we will have the moon conjunct Neptune. So again, it's about the dream. Tomorrow metaphorical and literal, because the dream can be what isn't existing currently, but what we want to have created and want to see exist. So we move towards that, and it's the vision. But it can also be falling asleep literally and dreaming. It can be going off into another world. And honestly, I had, when the moon was in Capricorn, I was so daydreamy, and I found that really interesting because when the moon's in Capricorn right now, it actually sextiles Neptune, and so it can chit chat with Neptune and get some of that dreamy quality about how to structure things. So right now, today, I'm looking at this chart, and it's really interesting. We have a lot of sextiles flying around. I'm just going to name a few. And again, sextiles are cooperative energy between planets. So we have Venus and Mercury sextiling at 9 and 10 degrees, Virgo and Cancer. We have, let me see, the Sun in sextile to Jupiter and approaching sextile between Mars and Jupiter. We have Jupiter and Saturn. We have Saturn and the Moon. We have the Moon and Uranus. And so I'm just trying to see here. Now, I don't have any asteroids on this chart that I'm looking at, so there may be some sextiles with asteroids, but we almost complete the circle of sextiles around the zodiac, meaning this one's in the sign sextiling that one's sextiling the next one's sextiling the other one. So they are 60 degrees apart, and that means that if we have planets all the way around the zodiac, 60 degrees apart from each other, we'll complete that grand sextile circle, but we don't quite have it today. But we do have a lot of cooperative energy today, and we have just a little stress going on between Jupiter and Pluto, but Jupiter is now past an exact square to Pluto and at 18 degrees Libra. So we are not having that as much pointed battle between diplomacy and authority and sense of self getting needs met versus the authority saying, no, you have to work in a certain way, a prescribed way. So, and that's also, again, the energy of major life change and the energy of travel and education and higher spirituality, understanding, expansion, and transformation. Okay, so I'm just going to go around to all the planets one by one and tell you what's going on, because there's a lot of pinball going on around here, and I just want to kind of focus a little bit on individuals. So the Sun in Leo, midway, we are really digging our heels in, wanting to do that creative endeavor. I personally have a lot of creative projects that need to get done, and I'm focusing on, and I can tell you, if you're in the middle of a bunch of projects you've started in the past few months, the eclipse is going to be very powerful, especially for invention and creation, to get that done. I want to also, again, caution you to please use some kind of visionary block if you are in the eclipse zone, because you can get permanent retinal damage burning into your retinas if you look at it, even for a small amount of time. So definitely use those glasses if you've got them. And I think they're trying to get them out to the public for little or no cost. So seek that out. Anyway, so we've got Sun and in Leo, and then we've got the North Node. I've already touched on the nodes. We've got Mercury in Virgo, which is going to be the subject of the next segment of the retrograde. We have Mercury in Virgo at 10 degrees directly opposing, well, actually within 3 degrees of opposition to Neptune. So this means that Mercury is getting, again, a clarity. Mercury is very mental and electrical energy, so our brain synapses are being stimulated. We're being grounded, so Mercury in Virgo is very much about the tangibles, the pragmatic. I can't believe it unless I see it. Opposite Neptune, which says, no, you have to believe it, then you'll see it. So they're kind of having a discussion right now about what's believable. And I can tell you, I'm going through that discussion myself in my mind, because if you've ever listened to the Law of Attraction, the Abraham CDs or podcasts, or, oh my goodness, you did not just do that. Okay, hopefully I did not get kicked off. I just had an electrical blip. Mercury always loves to tell me he's around. Hopefully you can hear. I'm going to go into the chat room. The chat room won't go up either. So Darn. Okay. Well, hang on a second. I'm going to see here. 862. Hello.
Hi,
Okay,
Shelley.
good. Hi. I just wanted to check in real quick because I have no other way of telling if people can hear me. I just want to make sure you can still hear me because my electricity
Yeah.
just went off. Okay, I'll get back to you in a second, but hang on, okay?
Okay.
Anyway, all right, wonderful. I just want to make sure that we're still on the air because my chat room is not opening. I have 3 different browsers on my computer, and I set it up to do the show, and depending on what's going on with any browser at any given moment, whether it's slow or fast or freezing up, I will use another one. And every time I use a different browser, it tends to have to be set up again, and you never know what you got and if people can hear. But this one doesn't have Flash, so I can't open my chat room today. I apologize. But anyway, Mercury, Mercury always tells me he's here when Mercury goes retrograde and I start talking. He really doesn't like me talking about him because almost every time something glitches when I start talking about Mercury. So anyway, we will show respect to Mercury because he is going to be having a very long time in this sign and in this energy. So I'm actually, we'll get to him again in a second. So Jupiter in Libra, again, about balance, about awareness of other people's feelings. And right now, because of Jupiter, it is about self-interest. So we are really trying to find our foothold in maybe a codependent relationship that's being triggered right now. But again, Leo Mars and Leo Sun are in positive aspect to Jupiter. So it means that we may have the opportunity to get our needs met. And children is likely the area or the arena that's giving it to us. If not children, then a playful attitude. Saturn in Sagittarius, the ruler of Saturn in Sagittarius right now, is at in 24 minutes retrograde, but that means that he's moving backwards toward in trine. And so we've got this really strong energy developing around grand trine with Saturn, Uranus, and the Sun. And so about 5 days when the Sun hits 20, it's going to be really powerful. And so that energy is like peak time. And so 5 days from now is the 13th of August. Again, moving towards that eclipse, but still perfecting that grand trine energy in fire. So in fire will burn something and rebuild through burning it. It's kind of a plutonic or scorpionic endeavor, but fire is the means with which Earth regenerates and renews. So, if there are fires out there, yes, we don't want them, especially if they're purposely set. But, and now maybe a time where we see that happening because it's expressed through action right now really strongly. But we have also the energy of renewal and creativity. So one thing can be one form of an energy or form of an event can end up getting completely wiped out through that fire energy, only to be recreated on the other side. And that's what Leo wants to do. It wants to create. So we have that strong energy coming in. Pluto in Capricorn, again, squaring Jupiter, sextiling Neptune. We're still feeling this intense change of structure, looking for buildings, authority figures, transportation, government, and really kind of archetypically the workplace with a patriarchal leader. So if you're in a job with a male boss, that energy is coming in and being shifted around and changed. Venus is moving into an opposition with this energy. She will get opposite, she's in Cancer right now. So she's at 9 degrees and she will be directly opposite. I swear, the moon in Aquarius always gets me a little bit ADD because there's so much information coming in, but I also energetically feel it in my body. I've had headaches for the last day or two because every time there's a planet or a body in Aquarius, it seems to really affect me that way. So if you've been getting headaches, that may be something that you feel as well. Anyway, August 9th, let's see, that's tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm just still looking here. Okay, there we go. The 16th, we'll have Venus at direct opposition to Pluto. And so that means that there will be some shift around the feminine coming into the workplace or the authority figure, that there will be kind of an energetic disagreement or uprising with authority around women. So definitely look for that to come up. It'll be next week, so probably, on the show next week I'll also touch on it, but it's going to be the opposition on Wednesday of next week. So it's building as Venus comes into opposition. So I haven't heard a whole lot, and I haven't been paying attention to a lot of broadcast news. I read more online news in written format. I really don't like all the blather of the talking heads with the broadcast news, so I don't listen to a lot of that. So I don't know necessarily all the nuances of what's going on in the news about women right now, but from what I've seen written news, I haven't seen a lot of women stories coming out. I think in the next week we will be seeing those stories based around women. The only one I did see is a model who was kidnapped in Italy. She was English, and she flew to Italy for a modeling job and was kidnapped and got released like within 10 days because she was a mother. They released her because she was a young mother, which is very much Venus in Cancer in trine to Neptune. So that energy is out there, but it's not like I'm talking women bosses and heads of companies who are women, and women in government will be coming more into our sight. Okay, and then talked about Neptune, and then Uranus is in Aries, again, retrograde, late degrees. So final wrapping up of the story around men, around, honestly, I want to also say it's kind of the last gasp of a lot of the police brutality issues, or not trusting in the police, because when Uranus goes forward, we're going to be experiencing the final push forward of this energy in Aries, with the possible exception next year when Uranus does get to Taurus, but it may retrograde back to Aries briefly. Let me look. No, I don't think it makes it 0, 0. Oh, I take it back. It's at 29 degrees. It only gets to 29. Oh, hang on a second. March. Yeah. No, I take it back. I don't think it gets very far next year on the retrograde. It gets to 29. Maybe 28. So last little bit. Okay, I take it back. Second to the last. The very, very last gasp is next year, but we'll have experienced a bit of the Uranus and Taurus. So again, wrapping up those stories with the final story next year around those story issues, the emergencies and police, fire, firefighting, masculine speaking up or bullying with the square to Pluto and Capricorn. Okay, so let's get on Mercury retrograde before it gets too late so we can take some calls today. Mercury retrograde. Mercury is, again, it's electrical by nature. It is eccentric. It can move from one thing to the next. It is the nature of Mercury, the metal, or it's not even, it's a liquid. It will move around unexpectedly. You cannot pin it down. That is the nature of Mercury wherever it is in your chart. It is electrical in the human body, so the synapses pick up electrical energy. In Virgo, it resonates to the earth energy, so we ground it. If you have Mercury in Virgo, you can ground energy. If it is not grounded, you will blow out light bulbs. This is me. I have 4-degree Mercury in Virgo and a few other very intense planets in Virgo, and I blow out light bulbs. I have one, it's an LED light, lasted a year or less. I have to go replace it. They say those last like 2.5 times longer, or even more than that, than regular, but it happens all the time. Light bulbs, if I'm mad and I go to turn on a light switch, I will blow out light bulbs from the energy coursing through my hand. You will see that. If you have a desire to talk a lot, this can also be Mercury and Gemini. It's that energy. You have a lot of information coming in to your brain and it needs to be expressed, and Virgo expresses it into the physical world. So they are great writers. They like to write. They like to teach. It is a teaching energy. Mercury rules the third house, which is the Gemini house, but it is about teaching. And it also rules the sixth house of service and work. So this energy can also be seen as expressed in the workplace and also through service. And it rules the digestion. So now is a time where if you're stressed, you may be having digestive issues or afflictions. Mercury going retrograde obviously reverses the energy of the expression. So instead of being vocal and verbal and intellectual and all the things that Mercury and Virgo are, pragmatic, it expresses the opposite energy. It actually becomes more like a Piscean energy. So it can lose its train of thought. It can not have its ducks in a row, and it can get lost. And this is the expression in our charts. Mercury can have us get lost in our thoughts, or maybe misunderstand where we are if we're driving somewhere, that the map isn't how we thought it was, how we express ourselves to others, very misunderstood at times. And you said, no, you said this. No, I didn't say that. Like this happened even just in an event this morning where my daughter wanted my help with something, and ended up, I took part of, it was, it was makeup eyebrow liner, and it broke apart. And I said, well, I'll fix it. And so I took the part to fix it, and I thought she had the pencil. She didn't have the pencil. And she's like, no, you had it. I'm like, no, I didn't have it. So, where did it go? Things go missing. Things get lost. Things get broken. Appliances break. Everything goes the opposite. And everything that would normally be flowing forward, we're talking, we're having contracts written, we're thinking about things. And contracts are a big Mercury thing too. We're getting our ducks in a row. All that kind of goes back, and we have to redo things because things are not moving smoothly or flowing smoothly. Conversations are not flowing smoothly at times. So electronic communications can break down. So phones can go off, can get frozen, the inner workings might not work. We may drop them. Mercury is a strong energy of accidents. So be very aware that you may not be perceiving things the way they are. So when you look left for traffic and look right for traffic, look left again and look right again, because things move. So what you see quickly may shift, and things are always going and flowing. So we have to be a little bit more diligent in that regard, because this is going to be a time where our minds may not perceive everything, because Mercury in Virgo is very aware of many, many things. They're very quick-minded and can absorb a lot of information. The electrical energy, like Aquarius energy also has it in Uranus, and Gemini energy, they perceive quickly, which is why they tend to, they think quickly. They can be assigned ADD, which is attention deficit disorder, because of the quickness of, can't stay put in one thought for a long time. So it's that energy that is going to be affected. So that kind of gives a pretty detailed synopsis of what's going on. So the course of the retrograde means that we have this energy to go back over, that wherever this energy was at the point that it retrogrades all the way back to. So this is called the shadow area, where Mercury starts at the retrograde point, which is the 13th. And let me just double check here. So it's 11 degrees and 38 minutes. So when Mercury goes back to the farthest point back before it goes direct again, which is 28 degrees of Leo, at that point, Mercury starts its shadow period. So it goes back to 28 Leo. So when Mercury is at 28 Leo, which was the 25th of July, from July 25th until the 13th of August, we're going to be going back over all those events. And then when Mercury goes back direct, when it gets to 11 degrees of Virgo again, which is all the way to the 20th of September, then it will be out of the shadow on the other side. So there are 2 shadow periods and a retrograde period. And so it goes shadow, retrograde, shadow, and then it's clear from the degree that it retrograded at, and that is 20th of September. So know that whatever started on the 25th of July, we will be going back over that energy come late September. So if you don't want to have to go back over something, then don't initiate anything before the retrograde. So, and that is also a message to myself, because I am still editing my astrology book, which I was aiming to get done by the eclipse. But we are about to go into the retrograde period, which tells me there may be mistakes in editing. So do I want that? No, but there's a lot of potent energy coming. So I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to cross my fingers. But I know that there are things that are going to have to change that I'm going to probably do. I'm an astrologer, but I'm still human, and I still have a creative drive, which probably is to the detriment. Anyway, let's just take a quick break, and we'll take your calls, and I'll find out more about what's going on with you and how the Mercury energy will affect you. And also, if you would like to call in, the number's 347-994-3365, and we'll see you in a couple of minutes. And welcome back. This is Shelley Overton. I am an astrologer in Orlando, Florida, and you can get me and get a reading from me at astrologerangel.com. I would love to do your chart, and we talk for a full reading. It's an hour and 15 minutes, and I record the whole thing and send it to you within 24 hours. And if you want just a mini reading, I also do those. Those are 25 minutes. Those are just kind of check-in readings, and we can cover a lot of territory in 25 minutes too. And I also record that and send it to you. So if you want either one of those or some other kind, I also do astrological charts, and booklets that you can have, and also compatibilities. So there's quite a few things. I've updated the website. Everything's going, and check it out, astrologerangel.com. Okay, let's take our first caller, 862. Hi, thanks for waiting. How are you? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. I'm good. I had you on mute.
Oh, okay. What's your name?
This is Jackie.
Hi, Jackie. Have you called the show before?
Yeah, 1/5/1965.
Okay, hang on. Slow down. Say it again.
1/5/1965.
Okay. And what time?
I'm not sure the time. I don't know the
Okay.
time. I was born in the UK, though.
You were born what?
6 a.m. before.
Oh, okay. Around 6 a.m., you think?
I don't know the time, but I think you tried me with 6 a.m. And one time I got tried with 8:41 p.m.
Okay.
So I don't know
whatsoever.
whatsoever.
We'll work with it. Why don't I just do a sunrise? That way it'll be probably more accurate if we don't know it for our purposes. Where were you born?
1/5/1965, United Kingdom.
No. Where were you born?
London.
Oh, okay.
London.
Great. Okay. Lovely. And what can I do for you today?
Well, I have some paperwork to take care of, and each time that I really get time in my personal life to sit down and really review, here come Mercury retrograde.
Oh.
And it's like clockwork, and I usually don't even realize it until the time shows up.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to see what's the best time to try to move forward. I'm trying to move on with my life.
Okay.
Physically move, and hopefully this year even change my role at work. I mean, I don't want to work the same way I worked before in the past.
All right. Well, definitely you've got some strong energy that's coming up on your midheaven with the sunrise chart. And natally, you have Neptune up there, which is the highest point. It's kind of like the pinnacle of your career or the beginning of your career. Jupiter will be there. Actually, I think it's going to touch on it before the end of this year. It gets very close to at the end of this year. It's within 4 degrees of going to your midheaven. Let me look next year and see what we have for next year. Yeah, so it actually gets there late January. And quite honestly, once Jupiter gets into Scorpio, it's basically telling you that now is time to work on your dreams. And Jupiter is expansion and transformation. So when it gets up to your Neptune, it's going to be giving you opportunities. And that's also a very strong opportunity for moving. When Jupiter hits your midheaven the end of January, it's also opposing the cusp of your home and family, which usually means that career will take you somewhere else. Jupiter wants you to move somewhere else. It always wants to go somewhere and seek out new things. So when Jupiter hits your midheaven and opposes your cusp of home and family, that's going to trigger that energy, on top of the fact that right before it gets there, it's going to be on your Neptune, giving you the tools to make your dreams come true. And then at the same time, it will be opposing your natal Jupiter in Taurus. So there's something that's going on around how you express yourself, because your Jupiter in Taurus is in your third house of communication and education. So if you have the inclination to teach, that would be a really good thing. Or if you're not a teacher, you're seeking out higher understanding, and there is an opportunity to make some money with Jupiter in Taurus. Next May, Uranus also goes into Taurus, so there's going to be some opportunities to maybe be a consultant / someone who is a contract worker, because Uranus has been increasing the need to express yourself through a way, like earn the money through something you do on your own, and not necessarily you can use other people in a sense of like, okay, they have something that I need to make my dreams come true, but it's really about being independent. So you're going to be finding you're drawn to doing things that will allow you more freedom. Okay? And that's coming the end of January. You are what?
I am a teacher, and I would love to do something that has more freedom because I don't like the bureaucracy and the nepotism. And
Right.
it's been
Yeah.
stifling.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
right now, oh,
I'm
go
still
ahead.
just doing it because I'm vested in it, and I'm good at it, but I'm frustrated with it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of change going on in your chart. You've got in the Mercury, you say it's interesting that you say that when the Mercury is about to go retrograde, you have 3 planets, very strong planets in Virgo being born when you were. You have Uranus and Pluto, which joined up in 65. And you also have Mars at 24 Virgo. So you are about service, about teaching, and Mercury is going almost to your Uranus and then retrograde. So Mercury is giving you the inclination that I have to do something on my own. If you have not gotten there yet, you will. When Saturn gets into Capricorn, it's going to be also kind of a punctuation mark on needing to change structures and not pleased with things. And I can tell you when Saturn hits Capricorn, the government definitely, there's a lot of stuff going on with the structure of government. And I know that being a teacher, you always have governmental rules and regulations that you have to follow because it's public school. So when Saturn hits that Capricorn energy in December, so the first half of the year will be a little bit more in limbo, that we may not know what's going to go on. But when Saturn gets to Capricorn, Saturn in Capricorn needs structure and needs consistency. And that will happen right about the same time that Jupiter will be moving towards your midheaven and will be on your natal Neptune. So your dreams are coming, but I think they're coming in December and January. So it will be a major shift of the new year for you. And I'm thinking that I don't know if it sounds like you still have the same job. Is that true? That
Yes.
you haven't quit the job. You still have
No, I
employment.
haven't quit the job. I mean,
Okay.
I need the employment like everyone else.
Yeah,
but I am
think
very
that
with it. It's the structure it's all over the place, and
right.
I need structure.
Mhm. Well,
you get there,
December.
you have a plan, you get there, and it just falls apart because of chaos, and I'm not used to that. It cost me a lot of internal turmoil.
Yeah, I see that.
A lot of things wrong,
go ahead.
we have no control over it.
Mhm. Yeah, unfortunately, right now with your chart, the Mercury being close, that's kind of triggering it a little bit. And when it goes retrograde, what it's doing is it's having you look at more of the contract and is the contract what you want? And I'm assuming, do you have a contract with your job?
Yes, right now, our contract is out, so we're waiting for a new contract. The negotiations and stuff to go.
Okay, that I would see coming.
Anything is possible.
Yeah, exactly. It's really true. Like I said, with the Mercury retrograde, it doesn't hit Uranus for you. Uranus in Virgo is about joining a union or having a union, and Mercury doesn't get there. So literally for you, it sounds like that when Mercury gets back to that 20th of September, that's when things are going to start to move forward. I would say probably between the 20th and the 24th of September is when a contract gotten. If you end up with a contract before then, I don't think you're happy with it.
I'm not going to end up with a contract. The contract that I would be looking for in September is in my own personal life, and it has to do with real estate and some family negotiations.
Okay.
The work, that contract is going to drag on. It has never, sometimes our contract has been in negotiation for 2 years. We'll actually get a contract. Contract is over. So I'm not, that contract I don't expect to come that fast. That would be a miracle.
Oh, well, it might be a miracle once Mercury gets direct again, because Mercury in Virgo is about teaching, it's about teachers and service. And it is also about contracts. So I would definitely say, on top of the fact that even though in your chart, Mercury will be right on Uranus, which rules contracts, it actually rules unions. When Mercury gets there, you're like everybody around who is born around the early 60s feels this energy, and that's a lot of people. I mean, it's my generation, it's your generation, and there are a lot of people of our generation in authority in schools now. You know, we've been around, and so they're the ones that are kind of negotiations because they're in their 50s now. So that energy is going to affect them. And I would absolutely say that I'm going to just tell you, I think that sometime late September, there's probably going to be a contract. Also, on top of it, Mars will be going into Virgo, which means get it done. So I think that that's probably a given. On top of it, you said that you personally have some real estate stuff. Jupiter going into Scorpio right now, Jupiter in an air sign is saying, oh, to be good. But when Jupiter gets into Scorpio, it tends to manifest things because Scorpio is about the actual tangible commitment. And then Saturn in Sagittarius, it going direct, which is coming up very quickly. It's August, I want to say 26th. It's August 26th. So when Saturn goes direct and it's wrapping up its time in Sagittarius, which rules higher education, it's also transformation. Things are going to move along. So for you personally, and it's also I read it as real estate transactions and so I think that when Saturn goes direct in Sag late August, that's going to be better for you for contracts, but you probably won't get it actually tangibly signed when it goes direct because that happens during the retrograde. So again, is probably going to be better for you. Even early September might still work good for the constellation because once Mercury goes direct, it'll be making the final. It will be at late Leo. So here, is it something that you're looking for a buy, or is the real estate?
I'm looking to get a house.
Okay, so you're looking to buy.
I'm really not looking to buy. I'm looking to settle.
It's a settlement. It's a settlement. Okay. Well, again, once that Mercury hits.
Take out some type of loan because there's some there's overdue taxes on it and all of that. It's part of an estate.
Okay. So honestly, if it's going to benefit you in the long run, it might behoove you to get that loan to get the taxes taken care of. But I do see Mars is going to be in Virgo, and it will be hitting your natal Mars, your Mars is in Virgo in your chart. And with a sunrise chart, all that is in your house of commitment and legalities and inheritance. So I find that Mars hitting your natal Mars, a Mars return, is very fortuitous for you in the house of settlement. So that'll happen in October. And it's literally October 14th. You have a Mars return in that house. So, so mid-October could be really good for you. Definitely late September, mid-October. And then if you're looking to move, the beginning of next year is going to be really good for you. Okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
Take care. You're welcome. Bye-bye. Okay, let's see who 202 is. Is this Kay?
Hey, it's Kay.
Hi, Kay. Hey, it's Kay.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for the call.
Oh, always great speaking to you. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. What can I do for you today?
Okay, so I had called a while ago and given you the info of this guy that I'm seeing, and when I listened on, you can go back and listen to the archive, I realized I gave you the wrong date.
Did you give me September 7th? Or
no,
July
that was someone else. This
July
was, nope, that's somebody else.
okay, hang on. March 5th? No,
that's me. That's
okay.
Me.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so I don't see the other one. There's only two I have, so let's find out. Well, tell me the first name, because I put in my first names. Is there a first name?
Yeah, we'll say Dan.
Dan, D-A-N?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hang on a second. All right. What is his birthday?
November the 7th.
Okay. What year?
1976.
Okay. And what time?
7:11 p.m.
Okay.
In Montreal, Canada.
Okay. Okay, so what would you like to know?
Just personality and like how we get along, that kind of deal.
Okay. Okay, hang on a second. I'm just doing a couple different charts here. Okay, so he has a Cancer rising, and that makes him Cancer energy really needs to be secure, and that can either take the form of money or having someone that they know is reliable and responsible. So that puts Capricorn in his house of marriage and partnership. So he definitely looks for a marital partner. In a romantic partner, he wants depth of connection, like to the hilt, because he has North Node, Uranus, Sun, Mercury, and Mars all in Scorpio. And that is a very intense, deep sign, and they want to merge with another person. And in his chart, it falls in the house of connectedness. So I'm going to kind of give you an overview and then come back to that because he's got a couple other things that are interesting.
Okay.
So he has Venus and Sagittarius, Venus in Sagittarius and Neptune in Sagittarius. So he's a traveler, and he probably travels a lot for his job. I want to say be cautious because having Venus in Sagittarius, again, Sagittarius energy is more self-interested and wants to be free to do what they want to do. Okay? Venus means that love and who he's looking for, who is free to move about, but probably even has a higher ideal around spirituality, because Venus is desire and Neptune, they're not exactly next to each other, but they're within 10 degrees, and that's still pretty close. And so he's looking of a seeker, okay? And I would say if he settles down with someone, which he has a lot of energy, he kind of needs to have a partner, but I'm going to say there's potential that he won't be faithful, but he does have very deep feelings, and so that can counteract some of the other energy in this chart. I would just be cautious because the Venus-Neptune-Sag energy falls into his house, the 6th house, which is a Virgo house. It can make him a bit of a loner, and it makes him, again, like I say, he has very high ideals towards spirituality and seeking out like the ultimate truth of what is real and what is spiritual. If he's not that, definitely he has potential to earn some good money through real estate deals because of that Sagittarius energy, Venus Sagittarius. He also has Jupiter in Taurus and Moon in Taurus, which means that he's good with money and very, like, he can make a lot of money if he follows his hunches, and his chart is very strong around following his intuition to make money. That's like really big around. And he has Saturn in Leo, which means taking risks gain him a lot of money too. And he's a leader. Like in his work environment, he can be a leader. I don't know if he's an actor. He has potential to be an actor as well.
He does act on the side. Yeah, he loves it.
And he may even be an actor as a profession down the road, because, or if he isn't an actor, I would say he'd be somebody who might be a speaker at a convention. Like, he has to be in the public eye on two levels. He has Saturn in Leo, which means he's naturally attracted to the spotlight and to leadership and the drama, but he's also attracted to speaking out and having his voice heard. So, I mean, I see Shakespearean actor would be good as well.
Totally. You're nail on the head.
So,
literally.
he's got, oh, wow, that's really fascinating. So, also when Jupiter right now is transiting, and so when Jupiter gets into Scorpio, the acting thing is just going to be, like, the next year for him is going to be off the hook. Like, definitely acting, definitely connecting to people. That he's going to be all about the drama. And I mean that. Like, Leo and Scorpio are the two most dramatic signs of the zodiac, because probably followed by Sagittarius. Leo loves loves larger than life. Leo loves hyperbole. This man is good at storytelling and loves hyperbole and probably has a really great sense of humor too.
He does. He does.
Yeah. He's also got this really intense Scorpio energy. And for an actor, Scorpio is awesome because Scorpio can basically put on anyone's personality and become that person. And for his chart, he's got all that Scorpio in the house of Leo. And Scorpio also it is black and white in how it sees things, so it tends to be very dramatic because black and white are contrasts. So it you know, he is very attracted to drama. So if you're around him, you're gonna like drama. Like he will probably create it if he doesn't have it. So if he is an actor, maybe he can get his fill of drama that way. But I can tell you, he loves very deeply and like encompassing, and he probably is a jealous by nature person. I can tell you it's not that it's a territorial thing. He's extremely territorial. And he's got Moon, Jupiter, and Taurus in the 12th house, and he's got all those other planets in Scorpio, Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Uranus. So he's very like, if I don't want you, I don't have you. So even if he may know that I've done everything, I don't want that relationship, he still doesn't want anyone else. It's like, no, I've marked my claim on you and you're not good for any other guy. I don't want you, but no one else can have you. So that's pretty strong for him. All of your Virgo energy, your Mars, your Jupiter, and your Saturn, is in positive aspect to his Scorpio. So, you know, you understand like the Scorpio nature kind of expresses the intensity that you may not always be able to express. So, you know, the Mars, the Jupiter, like the Virgo is very altruistic and wants to give of themselves. And especially Saturn and Virgo can be very, again, it's the loner energy, and you can be very, you're altruistic because it's like myself doesn't need to have the needs met because I really enjoy and get a lot out of giving to others. Jupiter in the sign though, and it's retrograde, which probably continues to add. If Jupiter were direct in Virgo, you'd probably be much more of a loner than you are, but Jupiter retrograde going towards Mars, and also moving Mars just inside, having been in Leo, you have North Node in Leo, there's a certain amount of attraction to the drama. Like, because I think in your world, you do have Venus in Aries, which can add a little touch of the drama. And you have Neptune and Sag can give you drama too. And then you have Scorpio, Uranus. So you do have some touches of drama in your chart. As far as getting along, yes, he has Pluto in Libra, and so there's definitely some energy in Libra, which is balance. His generation wants to pair up, and you also have it. Yeah, you also have it. So what you did, and I just got chills with this, coming into this world, part of the story and the life lessons you want to learn are how to, as a collective, be in relationships. That it's not like my generation. I'm a Scorpio, or excuse me, I'm a Pluto in Virgo generation. So I have long periods of being alone in my life, and your generation does not like that at all. It's like no. So the Virgo, Saturn, the Mars, the Jupiter, you can be very in your head when it comes to connecting to people, you know, because those are all, you're very intellectual, but your Venus is passionate, so can save you. I would say you can be around him, but I would caution you that he could be pretty hot to handle. He might be too hot to handle for you. Let me swap it around and see where his planets fall in your chart. I had his chart as the primary, and let me see for you. Oh, cool. He really affects you. I mean, his Venus is right on your Neptune in your first house of identity, and his Neptune's in your 12th house, so the ruling planet of your 12th house. Like, he's like an ideal for you in your mind. Like, you, and like subconsciously, you're like, wow, yeah. There's something going on. And then Yeah, his Jupiter falls in your house of work. So is this somebody you know from work?
No, nope, not from work.
Interesting, because there's a lot of work connection with his chart to yours, which may mean give you a lot of positive energy that will help you in your career. So he can open doors, especially pragmatic ones where you can make money, because he has Jupiter and Taurus in your house of work, and like knowing him can bring money from sources that he knows. Also,
cool.
Saturn in your 8th house is joint finances. He can, again, Leo, he definitely has some connection. I mean, I would say, even though there's maybe a romantic attraction on your part, I would say his benefit to you would definitely be the people he knows, the soul groups and the connections, the networking connections and friendships that he knows are really beneficial to you. Like all his Scorpio falls in soul group and networking, and his Saturn falls in your money from others. His Pluto falls in your career house. And it's, it's your Pluto's in your career house as well. I think that the way he affects you, definitely there's some coming on, and he can give you some soul growth. Like the things he can bring. Expanding your awareness of spirituality and how spirit can bring you things in a way different from the pragmatic side, in a much more, and and this is something I've been listening a lot to lately, is the law of attraction. So
I love Esther and Jerry.
Yeah, and I've really listening to it because I'm having some blocks about allowing, and he can give you that kind of like, no, we can manifest very easily, and just watch how he does it. Do it.
Yeah, he's very positive in that way.
Yeah, and so he's got a lot to teach you. And then a lot of Scorpio, I think the Scorpio, because it falls in your house of friendship, I think he might friend zone you. But there's definitely some Venusian connections. So you guys do have a deep spiritual connection. I will say that. There's definitely that Neptunian spiritual connection. So see where it goes, but his Chiron is on your Venus, and that means that there's some kind of wounding that's being triggered. And for you, I think he may trigger this energy, especially around the family, that your Venus is at the last degrees of your home and family house, and literally his Chiron is on your Venus, which means he could hold a strong potential to teach you about your deep family wounding. And that may be why on some level you're attracted to him, is that he's familiar to the wounding that you need to address. So, you might want to think about that. I'm not really sure. Let me flip this. I want to see where your Chiron is real quick here. Yours is in Taurus at 10 degrees. So it's in romance and money and value, the value you have in romance. Okay? That's your strong Chiron. So anyway, that's pretty much what I have.
Well, thank you. That was very informative. I will keep all of that in mind.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for the call, and you have a good week, and we'll, I guess, talk to you again soon.
Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. You too. Bye-bye, Kay. That's the show for this week. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you want to find out more about what I do, astrologerangel.com. Please go to YouTube and you can type that in. I have a channel. It's under Artful Shelley on YouTube, where I post the shows as videos, and I also have some other videos, vlogs, and things like that I do. And you can subscribe there. You can get me on Facebook. You can get me on Instagram. You can get me everywhere. Just look around, Artful Shelley or Astrologer Angel. And take care. We'll see you next week. Bye. Thanks for stopping by AstroEnergy this week. If you would like to get a hold of Shelley Overton, you can get her at astrologerangel.com, on Facebook at AstroEnergy or Astrologer Angel. The music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, with additional music by Ironwood Rain. Check them out on the net at ironwoodrain.com.
Big news! One day only this Friday at Old Navy, take back your tax. Old Navy is giving you an extra 10% off your entire purchase, even on sale styles. It's like not paying your taxes. Better hurry, it's one day only this Friday at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Valid 8/18, excludes gift cards.
Ready? Okay. We got paper, yes we do. White ruled notebooks, pencils, glue. We got crayons every hue. School supplies for your whole crew. Target's got everything you need to ready, set, go back to school.
To subscribe, please click the picture of Shelley on the right or the red button below.